Are consumers going to be biting their tongue if they take the wraps off some 3D television sets? Well, the Consumer Electronics Show wraps up this weekend in Las Vegas. Companies all over the world getting a chance to strut their high technology stuff. But all right, which generation gadgets, which next generation gadgets are really going to be a hit with consumers? Here to give us her take is Melissa Otto, director at TIAA-CREF Investment Management. Melissa specializes in international global consumer issues. Melissa, good to have you with us.
Hi, Pimm. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. What did you get from CES besides a bag full of pens and, hard drives that you could take away? Did you get a 3D television?
Not yet, but we're certainly looking at them. I mean, that's the buzz. 3D, mobility, tablets. These are going to be the buzzwords for 2011.
All right, let's start with the first one. Tell me about 3D television sets. It seems that everybody's trying to place them in consumers' homes, whether it's Sony or it's Samsung or Panasonic, but you've got to wear glasses. How are people going to react to having to wear glasses to watch television?
I think it's a challenge. I mean, but it depends on the content. So if there's really rich and exciting content that consumers are going to get excited about, I think they'll wear the glasses. But the interesting thing about the show was that Sony previewed a 3D television of the future that didn't require glasses.
46 inches measured diagonally, you tell me.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear glasses. No. How about just looking at real people? That's 3D. What's the technology behind Sony's 3D no-glass television? I mean, does it really look like 3D?
It's their secret sauce. I mean, it really generated quite a buzz. It's not quite ready for market yet, but I think it definitely gives us a sneak peek into where the entire industry is looking and where consumers can expect the features to ultimately come out.
What kind of price tags do these 3D televisions have? Are they expensive?
They're coming down in price. Anywhere, you can see them at the high end, a couple of $1,000s, and then, they kind of could come down from there. And my sense is that as we go into 2011, 2012, I suspect the prices are going to continue to come down as they become more popular. And I also think that the content providers, they have an incentive to put out more 3D content. Consumers get excited, and they also want consumers to buy into this as well.
What about the gaming community? Does that also play into the world of 3D? Because,
Absolutely.
I mean, the Xbox 360 with the Kinect, that's been sold out in many places. Is that also making this idea of getting to feel part of the action? Is that the idea?
Absolutely right. I mean, it's just all about connecting your 3D, connecting your TV, connecting your content all together. And, the checks that we've done show that the consumer really wants that.
All right. This is Taking Stock on Bloomberg. I'm Pimm Fox. We're talking about the top tech trends from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. My guest is Melissa Otto, director at TIAA-CREF Investment Management. Melissa specializes in international global consumer equities. Has just returned also from a 4-week trip to Asia, I understand. Melissa, what about the tablet? I mean, the iPad and other companies, Samsung, this is the blending of tablet computing as well as smartphone technology. That seems to be the other trend that we should pay attention to from the Consumer Electronics Show.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all about mobility and the ability for consumers to do anything that they would do at their desks or in their home, out and about, and be able to carry that in the back of their pocket. Applications that allow that, facilitate that, and just ultimately make life easier and more enjoyable. And I think we're seeing smartphones and tablets really play a major role in that in 2011.
So who gets hurt? I mean, is it the PC makers? Because if you're going to be using a tablet or a smartphone, that sounds as if at least the PC on your desk or the laptop that you might have carried around is going to look a little more cumbersome.
Theoretically, yeah. That's something we're watching very closely.
Do you think that businesses are going to be spending on tablets for their employees?
We've seen some evidence of that. I mean, not only in the U.S., but abroad as well. I mean, there have been some really good signals that show that there is a corporate appetite out there for the tablets.
That Research in Motion is surely looking for this to happen.
Indeed.
Do you think that Research in Motion is going to be successful?
We'll see.
You're always hedging your bets.
I know. Well, I have to be careful. But, the tablet's interesting because Apple really came out and they set the standard. They came out with all these great products that have really
created new markets
with consumers in such a powerful way. And now you've got all these other guys that are out there saying, look, we've got to get it on this. We've got to try to build a better mousetrap. We've got to try to build our own brand in the same way, but it's a little bit different than what Apple's done. And so I think we'll see who ultimately wins in the end, where the volumes come from, where the profit margins come from. But I'll tell you what, Apple is a formidable competitor.
You still like to, I'm going to ask you the Apple shares. I mean, do you like Apple stock?
Apple is a formidable competitor.
All right, very diplomatically put. What about you? Are you going to be getting an iPad or some kind of tablet computer?
I am not an early adopter.
You're waiting for prices to come down.
I always wait for prices to come down. I definitely, and all of my friends laugh at me for this. They're like, you cover this stuff so closely, and I still,
You just don't want to pay the money.
I don't want to pay the money.
What about e-readers? I mean, if you combine tablet computing with smartphones and then add in e-readers for electronic books, is that a big change for the consumer marketplace?
Yeah.
Because Amazon.com says, look, the Kindle is really turning out to be a big revenue generator.
I think people love to read, and they love to read in places that are a bit unusual, whether it's by the pool or on the train, and things like the Kindle are really convenient for consumers, and I think resonate with a certain class of people that just love to read books.
What about, as you mentioned, applications? Because the idea is if you've got an application, it has to live somewhere. There has to be some server, some bigger computer that provides that computing power.
Cloud.
Oh, right, the cloud over some kind of wireless network.
Right.
So is that a good investment theme for 2011?
I mean, to me, I really am excited about the cloud. I think the push by Microsoft and some of these other players to really put more and more data onto the cloud, more content onto the cloud, that ultimately allows the consumer to simply just beam down whatever movie, whatever film, whatever show, whatever music they want, whenever they want.
Or whatever business application you want.
Absolutely. I think is really the future.
So does that mean that companies such as Intel end up prospering? Because, I mean, they're making the chips that are going into the servers, and we've heard that, the enterprise sales, they have much higher margins than selling to the retail customer.
They certainly do.
So do you think that that's what the enterprise is going to be doing, looking at enhancing their computing power, let's say, in that IT closet so that their workforce is going to have that mobile ability, that mobile power? I
think it's an exciting area that we're watching really closely. I mean, we've certainly been watching it, speaking with the companies and trying to stay close to it. We'll ultimately see how it shakes out.
What about retail trends? I know you also pay attention to retailing. That apparently is being shaken up because people are walking around with mobile devices, checking prices, and also being able to discern, whether something is in stock or something is out of inventory. Is that also going to change the way retail operates?
I think it is slowly. And I think consumers are getting much more savvy, but I'm not sure that it's in this enormous, monumental way that some are speculating that it's going to be. I think at the end of the day, consumers still love to go in stores and kick the tires for themselves. They love the process of shopping.
All right, well said. I want to thank you very much, Melissa Otto, joining us from TIAA-CREF Investments.